Hey, what's up guys, this is George from Team Casual Kids, and this is going to be a new deck profile on that deck that I was was talking about in a recent deck profile on my Dark World deck, and that is Worms, as you can tell. Just finished the deck today, and honestly I was playing a little bit of duels with some of my friends and some other people, and it was honestly working out really well. I really like the build. It's definitely something that I've been testing a lot on DN, and I honestly do enjoy using it a lot, and I plan to use it more in the future for locals and other things, because I do believe this deck works out very well in tourneys. Although it's kind of slow this format due to the Triforce, which is the only reason why this deck hasn't been seeing a lot of play. But on the flip side of that, this deck definitely has a lot of potential. And it's honestly not too expensive. The actual skeleton of the deck for the worms and the W Nebula meteorites are not expensive at all. They're about 50 to a dollar. 50 cents, excuse me, to a dollar. The only things that are probably the most expensive is the Solemn Brigade, the Dualities, Thunder King, if you want to take it in there, and stuff like that. So, anyways, I'm going to go into the deck profile right now for you guys. Here we go with monsters. Starting off with 3 Worm X. One of the main cards of the build. When he's normal summoned, you can send 1 worm monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you have a face-up WURRMZZZ on the field, he cannot be destroyed by battle. So he's very good. 3 WURRMZZZ. WURRMZZZ is also very, very good and one of the main cards of the build. That makes it work a lot. When you only have a face-up X on the field, you can special summon him from the graveyard in face down defense position, which is amazing because when he's flipped face up, you can bounce a face up monster on your opponent's side of the field. The only thing bad about this card is that when he is sent to the graveyard, he is removed instead. When he's removed from the field, he's removed instead. But because of Nebula, Book of Moon, and other stuff, when he's flipped back face down, that effect resets, and he's not removed from the field. So he's very good. Very, very good. Very good against Zenmaines and other really annoying shit this meta. Carteros. He's your Rhoda. When he's flipped, you can search for a level 4 or lower worm type, which would be Zex or Yagen. Or himself, really, but I don't really see the point of searching for himself unless he's the only target. Very good, though I wouldn't run it at 3 simply because of the high amount of T-Kings this format. If they swing into it, he's obviously dead, so yeah. But it's still a good card. 2 Worm King, very good. I won't really explain why he's in the build right now, but his effect is when you have a face-up worm on your side of the field, you contribute it to destroy a card on your opponent's side of the field. So it's obviously he has a very good effect, kind of like Hyperion or Dad of Worms. Tech, Evil Dragon Ananta. This card's very good. Some people may run 2 or 3. I personally like 1. It's not always good in the hand if you have no worms out or reptiles, really. But its effect is you can banish all reptiles from your side of the field and your graveyard, and you can special summon them from your hand. He gains 600 attack for each card that was banished, and at the end phase, he destroys a card on the field. So he gets rid of certain back row or something like that that would really hinder you from making your plays. He's really good in that essence, and he's also a really good beater if you have a lot of shit like Worm King or WURRMZZZ with no Zex, or X, my bad. And honestly, a lot of the worm monsters in your graveyard are not going to be brought back, so obviously this makes them very useful. Also, for certain people who want to run the Chaos version of this build, you can use him in conjunction with other Darks to use BLS and Chaos Sorcerer, but I honestly don't recommend that build. I honestly don't like it myself, but whatever. 2 T-King. Very good this format because of the fact that so many people run things for Xyz and stuff like that. I mean, he's anti-search, he gets rid of Synchros and Xyz, he's a 19 beater, he's very good. 2 Veiler. Veiler is very good this format. Very good against Insectors and Wind-ups, which obviously can really potentially destroy this deck, especially against Wind-ups first turn, so obviously this card's very good. 1 Honest. Honest is very good in this deck because almost every card in this deck, with the exception of Genex Ally Birdman and Evil Dragon Ananta, are light. So Honest is very good. can run over some certain beat sticks. Very good to have in hand, and a lot of people don't expect it in hand when they're first playing against Worms because they usually never see this in other decks besides like Light Beat and Light Swarm. So, and finally, Genix Ally Birdman. Certain tech that I really like in this build. It adds for more synchro-based monsters to come out that you can utilize if you really need it. You can go into Black Rose and stuff like that. So I like it. Very good. Now we're going into spells. 3 duality. Obviously, this deck really needs to set up in order to make it very effective, and dualities initially make that very, very good. So, yeah, not really gonna go too in-depth about dualities. 2 smashing grounds. You can also run Lance. I did run Lance for a little bit on DN, but I switched it out for smashing ground mainly because of price and because I think smashing ground is also a pretty good replacement, just for a more control-based build. 2 MST. Might bunk it up to 3 because I do not run Heavy Storm in this build because of how heavy back row reliant this build is. But on the flip side of that, Heavy Storm is very good this format, so definitely run it. Mind Control. Very good card. I consider it kind of a staple in most builds right now, this format. Just taking a monster, if it has a really good effect, like let's say Raikou or Morphing Jar or something like that, and using it for an XZ or taking their Sangan and doing something with it, it works really well. So obviously this works out fine. Also, if you have another monster on your side of the field and you mind control something, you can bounce it to bring out Genix Ally Birdman and essentially go for a synchro. So it's very good. One Book of Moon. You have a lot of targets on your side of the field that, or not targets on your side of the field, but a lot of targets in your deck that utilize flip effects, such as Yagen and Carteros. Also, it's a very defensive and offensive card, so I feel that's very good in this build. Specifically, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, staples, at least in most decks. Now we're going into traps. 3 W Nebula Meteorite. This is one of the main traps of the build and definitely a very good trap for this deck. What it does is you can flip all face up or face down monsters into face up defense position, and at the end phase all worm monsters essentially get flipped back face down. You draw a card for each one that was flipped face down, and you can special summon a level 7 or higher worm type from your deck, which would be Worm King. Very, very good card. Very good in conjunction with Yagen, because you can activate on your opponent's turn if they summon something and go into a synchro or something like that. You can Nebula, flip Yagen, bounce their monster at the end phase, flip Yagen back face down, draw, special summon Worm King. Very good. Very, very good card, and very important to run 3 in this build. 2 Offering to the Snake Deity. This is essentially Icarus Attack for worms, but it's not really as bad as Icarus Attack in my opinion. You're not tributing off a monster, so if it does get negated by, let's say, Starlight Road or something, you do keep your monster, so it's very good in that essence. It also is good against back row. Obviously cards like Starlight Road hurt it a lot, but you know, I really like it. Speaking of Starlight Road, I main 1 Starlight Road. Very good this format because of how much back row hate, how much monster hate there is in today's meta with 2 Torrential, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, stuff like that, Black Rose, JD, stuff like that. It's honestly, in my opinion, a very good main. 2 Warning and a Solemn Judgment, a Solemn Brigade, obvious choices for traps. 2 Deep Prison and a Bottomless. That's about it for the traps. I'm running 1 Bottomless instead of 2 because I just feel more comfortable with 1, and I do like Deep Prison against certain matchups, especially in this meta right now. And I also like Deep Prison just for more of a control base against certain builds like that use Zenmaines and Stardust and stuff. Anyways, that's the deck. Worms, or Worms, as I like to call them. I honestly really enjoy using this build. It's very fun, it's very cheap, and it's very good, honestly. I'll be posting the extra deck and the side deck in the description if you are interested, and I'll see you guys later in my next video. Peace.